Many years ago, I told in a sermon the story of a gentleman from the South who won the lottery. And he won enough money so that he could fulfill his great dream of buying a Winnebago and traveling. So he went out and bought a large 32-foot Winnebago, and he stocked it up with groceries and all his stuff. And he quit his job and he took to the highway. And on his very first trip, he could not have been more excited. And that gentleman headed out to the interstate, and after driving for a little while, he pushed the button for cruise control, and then he got up from the driver's seat and wandered back to the galley to make himself a sandwich. Well, as you might guess, the Winnebago went off the road, it crashed. The good news is that he was okay. But as the story goes, he then went on to sue Winnebago for well over $1 million because he said that in the owner's manual, they had not done a better job of explaining what you could or could not do during the time the vehicle was on cruise control. Well, as the story played out, he won well over $1 million in court after suing Winnebago. Well, it turns out, after I shared the story with all of you and put some smiles on your faces and mine, it turns out that I later found out that the story was not true. It served a purpose, though. It made us smile. And this morning, I share a story. As it turns out, it's not true as to the source for which it's been attributed, but it's valuable nonetheless. Maybe some of you have seen it. It's a letter that allegedly was written by Bill Gates about the coronavirus and what it has meant for us. As it turns out, the source is not Bill Gates, but as I've read it a few times through, it seems to me to be quite valuable, and so it's worth listening to. If you've not heard it, please listen along, and if you would like to, you certainly can find it online. It goes like this. I'm a strong believer that there is a spiritual purpose behind everything that happens, whether that is what we perceive as being good or being bad. As I meditate upon this, I want to share with you what I feel the coronavirus, COVID-19 virus, is really doing to us. First, it's reminding us that we're all equal, regardless of our culture, our religion, our occupation, our financial status, or how famous we are. The disease treats us all equally. Perhaps we should. And if you don't believe me, just ask Tom Hanks. Second, it is reminding us that we're all connected, and something that affects one person has an effect on another. It's reminding us that the false borders that we have put up have little value, as the virus does not need a passport. It is reminding us, by oppressing us for a short time, of those in the world who have spent their entire lives being oppressed. Third, it's reminding us of how precious our health is and how we have moved to neglect it through eating nutrient-poor manufactured food and drinking water that's contaminated with chemicals upon chemicals. If we don't look after our health, we will, of course, get sick. It's reminding us of the shortness of life and of what is most important for us to do, which is to help each other, especially those of us who might be old or sick. Our purpose is to do more than buy toilet rolls. It's reminding us of how materialistic our society has become, and how, when in times of difficulty, we remember that it's the essentials that we need: food, water, medicine, as opposed to the luxuries that we sometimes unnecessarily give value to. Sixth, it's reminding us of how important our family and our home life is, and how much we have often neglected this. It's forcing us back into our homes so that we can rebuild them into homes by strengthening our family units. Seventh, it's reminding us that our true work is not our jobs. That's what we do, not what we were created to do. Our true work is to look after each other, to protect each other, and to benefit from one another. 8, it's reminding us to keep our egos in check. It's reminding us that no matter how great we think we are or how great we think others are, a virus can bring the world to a standstill. 9th, it's reminding us that the power of free will is in our hands. We can choose to cooperate and help each other, to share, to give, to help, and to support each other. Or we can choose to be selfish, to hoard, and to look only after ourselves. Indeed, it is difficulties that bring out our true colors. 10th, it's reminding us that we can be patient or we can panic. We can either understand that this type of situation has happened many times before in history and it will pass, or we can panic and we can see the end of the world and consequently cause ourselves more harm than good. 11th, it's reminding us that this can either be an end or it can be a new beginning. This can be a time of reflection and understanding where we learn from our mistakes, or it can be the start of a cycle which will continue until we finally learn the lesson that we are meant to learn. 12, it's reminding us that the earth is sick. It's reminding us that we need to look at the rate of deforestation just as urgently as we look at the speed at which toilet rolls are disappearing off the shelves. We are sick because our home, the earth, is sick. 13, finally, it is reminding us that after every difficulty, there is always ease. Life is cyclical, and this is just a phase in that great cycle. We need not panic, for this too shall pass. Now, you may not agree with every single word, but it is good food for thought. May God bless you, and may God bless us all in these challenging times.